Twirlers worldwide to another video in my series Photoshop for Twirlers. In this video I want to look at sharpening your twirl. Now your twirl may look a little soft depending on the detail in the original image. Now we can add a little extra pop to your twirl by sharpening it. Now this is something you might want to do over and over again, so I'm going to show you how to make an action to do it. Okay, so let's twirl. So we'll go into this one and we'll resize it first so the action actually runs faster. So let's run a lighten one. So we'll click on the lighten action, and I'll just accept the defaults of 80 and -80 to get us a twirl. And there we are, we've got a twirl. But if you zoom in a little bit, you'll see that it might look a little bit soft in areas. I mean, we're not going to be able to correct everything here, but we can just give it a little bit extra pop. And we're going to do that by making an action. Now, if you've got my action pack, you'll see that down at the bottom here, I've got a sharpen. So what I'm going to show you today is how to make that, but also if you've got the action pack, how to put it into the action pack. So first, if you've got the action pack, what we need to do is to come out of button mode, and then make sure that you click on the Twirl action pack action set, like the group that everything's in, and then when we make the action, it will go into that action set. Let's start things off. We'll go down and we'll click on the making a new action. We'll call this one sharpen, and we'll give it a colour. Let's say we'll give it a green colour, and then we'll click record. So now Photoshop's recording, so we've got to be careful what we click. So I'm going to go to layers, and then I'm going to duplicate this layer. So I'll right click and duplicate the layer and click OK. So we've now got two layers. This top layer, I'm going to get rid of all the colour. So I'm going to go to image and adjustments and desaturate to take all the colour out. Or you can use the keyboard shortcut Shift Control and U. Either will work. So that's now gone black and white. So I can now run a filter on it, and I'm going to run what's called the high pass filter on it. So I'm going to go to filter and other and high pass, and this is going to bring a dialog box up, and we've got a radius to select. And what this is doing is this filter is picking out all the high contrast edges, because that's what we want to sharpen. So if I take this down to 0, it doesn't sharpen anything. If I take it right up here, it goes all fuzzy, because basically you're getting two lots of sharpening all interacting with each other. So what I want is something down here where I'm starting to see some of these lines, but it's not going really fuzzy like that. So I would pick something like maybe 5 or 6 pixels. And then I'm going to click OK. And the final thing we need to do is to change the blend mode to blend all these grey pixels into that background so we can't see them. And we're just left with the sharpening. And we're going to use an overlay blend mode. And that brings everything into a little bit more sharper focus. So if I switch this on and off, you can see that it's actually a little bit sharper. So that's it for the action. So I'm going to click on the actions panel, and I'm going to click to stop the action running, and there we should have our sharpen action. Now all I want you to do is to, just for a final thing, is to go to the high pass part here and just click on it once, and then make sure that this little box here, if you click on it, what that will do is that'll bring the dialog box up every time so you can put in whatever sharpening you like, dependent on what the image is like. Okay, that's the action done. You can see I've got two actions now because I had a sharpening one before. But what we can do now is, if you've not got my action pack, then the way to run the action, you will have this sharpen action now because you've made it in your actions panel. So you can just click on it and then click the little triangle to run it. If you've got my action pack, then it's easier to go into button mode and then right down at the bottom, so you've got your sharpening action down at the bottom. So let's just see that in action. So we've created that layer before, we'll now drag that over the bin because we want rid of it. And we're back to our soft image, and we'll now go and run our action. So I'll just go down and click on sharpen. Brings up the dialog box, we'll leave it at 8.8 pixels and we click OK. And if we go back to the layers panel, you'll see we've now created again, or the action has created this sharpening layer for us. So I'll turn it on and off, and you can see it just gives it that little extra pop, which will be good for printing. Now if it's not enough, then what you could do is duplicate that sharpening layer. Just drop that over there, and then you've got twice as much sharpening. Then you could just feather it in a little bit with the opacity until you find something that you think that's as sharp as I need it to be. And that looks pretty cool. Final step is to save it out. So you could either save it out as a layered document, but if you're quite happy with it, then we could flatten it down by going up to the little flyout menu and choosing merge visible. That would merge it all down into one layer, and then you go over to the file menu and you save it out, but you save it out as a JPEG. Well, thanks for watching. For more training on Photoshop and Lightroom, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Live Link Training, or visit my website, kenfisherphotography.com. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.